Okay, today's project. I've got one working key for this Grand Caravan. That one right there. I'm gonna make multiple keys work for the same vehicle. And I did that by ordering a pair off of Amazon. Now you need two working keys to do this, and I only have one, but I do have another key that kind of works for the doors. I'm gonna repair that key, and then I'll have two working keys and I'll be able to make it work. Okay, so what I've got here is my broken key. Now if you look at it, right in here, it's busted. And if you put that thing in the slot and you twist, eventually something's going to bust. Something's going to break. Now this key works for unlocking the doors. It works for the sliders. It just doesn't start the vehicle. Now I've already had it apart, so I'm going to show you how to take that thing apart. This here is an original Dodge key, and it's really gonna look easy because it's gonna fall right apart because I've had it apart already a few times, and it's all busted up. The newer keys don't have that back on it, so the plastic's a little different. Taking the battery out. So to get this apart, you want to separate it. You kind of slide that piece off, and then kind of slide this out as a whole, the board and the top. And that gives me these pieces, all of these pieces right there. All right, so right here is the button piece, and if you look at it, this little chip is part of the Century key, and that is the chip that you encode and you start your vehicle. It sits right inside that piece. So when you stick it in the ignition, it's inside that ignition, and that's what it's reading right now. Now, as I said before, as you twist this, you're eventually going to break these solder joints, right? And if you look at this solder joint right here, it's a very thin piece of metal, and it's the same thing on this side. But the way I fixed this one is I essentially set it down. I threw some solder on my iron, and I kind of held this chip down. And I just gave it a little bit of heat here and a little bit of extra solder right here on this end. I pull it off and let it cool, 5 seconds maybe, and this chip held down at that point. Now this chip is a working chip. This key actually does work in the vehicle. And I'll show you how to put that thing back together. Essentially, the way you want to do it is you want to make sure you got your buttons right, and you want to stick it in as one piece here. Now what we're looking at is this piece here. We're kind of watching out for that piece. These are the battery pieces. Right? So when the battery sits down in there, this piece is connecting to the outside edge, so we want to make sure that that's going to be right. As you shove it in here, it's easy to knock that thing off, and it goes right in this little slot right here. So as a whole, I'm taking these two pieces and I'm sliding them in there, right? I kind of got it in there part way, and from here I'll go on this side. And if you look, this piece here is not in that slot all the way. And it's not in right here either. Right here. So I have to kind of push it in as one. And before I seat that down, I want to look here, make sure I got this piece in. And that might be down a little bit, but that's okay. Alright. Now that's in there, and that's seated in there. pretty well. I'll take my surround and I'll kind of put that back on, even though it doesn't really stay, it's not really hooked to anything. I'll throw this battery back in here, and I'm just going to give it a little bit of a, just to make sure I got good contact right here. And then I'll put this back on. And this key now is a working key. It'll still unlock the doors. Yeah, I can do the panic button works. So the whole thing works. I don't know how long that solder joint inside there is going to stay. What I'm going to do is use this to reprogram 2 new keys. And those 2 new keys are right here. Dawn got them off Amazon, 25 bucks. Up until, I want to say 2010, they have a feature where you can reprogram a new key yourself as long as you have 2 working keys. And I will show you how to do that. This is my worst key. All right, this is the key that I broke, and it's all fallen apart. It's cracked there, and I put it back together. I soldered that chip back on. Right now, if I put this key in here, it will start the vehicle. Okay. So I fixed that key. It works. Now I have 2 working keys. Since I have 2 working keys, I can reprogram these 2 new keys. And the way to do that is I'll show you. I need both of the working keys in here to do it. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to turn it to the on position. Right? Now I'm going to watch this. Now I'm going to take my other working key. I'm going to take this one out and very quickly put this one in. I don't know what the timing is, and I'm going to turn it to on. Now watch what happens here. After 10 seconds, that starts going, and that's in programming mode now. So now what I have to do is I can take this key out and stick one of my new ones in and turn it for 10 seconds. And I'm in programming mode right now. Okay, and now I'm going to do that again with the same key. Okay, I got that chime. I believe that chime tells me that I'm good. So let's try to start it with this new key. New key starts it. Okay. So now I have 3 working keys, and all I have to do is repeat that step. Take one of them, turn it to on for, call it 6 to 10 seconds, turn it off, throw the next working key in to on for 6 to 10 for 10 seconds, and it'll enter that programming mode where the light will blink on and off. Take the new key, which here's my other new key, stick it in there, turn it to on for 10 seconds, turn it off, turn it on for 10 more seconds, and that should program it. I'm going to lock them, I'm going to unlock, I'm going to close doors. Now we don't have the hatchback, but I think that one waits to that. And I could even do the panic mode. That even works. All works. This non-working key is now fixed, and this key can go in my safe. This key is the Dodge key. I believe it was a Dodge replacement key that works, and it can go in the safe. And Dawn and I both have brand new keys. That's how you get more keys for 2010 to 2008 to 2010 Grand Caravan, Chrysler Town Country. There are others that work. A lot of the Chryslers of that era had the same dumb key. That's how you get it to work.